The invention of canning was all about war. Napoleon needed supplies to battle the rest of Europe. French brewer and candy maker Nicolas Appert invented the basic process of canning using glass jars. English merchant and agent Peter Durand patented a tin can process in 1810. Durand sold canned meat to the British Army and Royal Navy. Nothing like the military to fund food processing. What was the basic process? The food was sealed in an airtight container. The canned food was then heated under steam pressure to reach specific temperatures of around 250 degrees Fahrenheit. The amount of time needed depended on the acidity, density, and ability to transfer heat, usually several hours. Robert Ayres had the first canning operation by 1812. Thomas Kensett was an engraver and inventor migrating from England. He moved to New York and set up shop with his father-in-law as a processing operation, starting with glass jars, which were expensive and prone to break. Kensett obtained a patent for preserving food in vessels of tin in 1825. He canned fish, fruits, vegetables, and meat. There weren't many canning plants, and they remained small affairs. Why? Canning initially was a slow, relatively expensive operation. Bottles cost a lot and had the nasty habit of breaking. Tin cans were difficult and time-consuming to make. Canisters, the initial name, started as wrought iron sheets cut by hand and shaped into a round can. Tops and bottoms were done separately and had to be soldered on. Long cooking times added to the difficulty. Canned foods were expensive and not that appealing for consumers. Captain Cook had an early version of condensed soup, but it required the threat of flogging to get sailors to eat it. The big demand was during war, when the convenience of transporting cans increased and the chances that soldiers and sailors had something to eat. The food was at least palatable after various inventions most of the time. Tin cans were initially thick, made from iron, and hard to get into. Using a hammer and chisel was the recommended method. Without those, just about any method was tried: rock, pick, shovel, target practice. The can opener seems obvious now, but not a couple hundred years ago. Useful can openers appeared in the 1850s with claw-shaped designs. Ezra Warner from Connecticut got the first American patent in 1858, which was adopted by the Union Army during the Civil War. Rotating wheel openers started in the 1870s. Gail Borden bounced around the country as a surveyor, city planner, newspaper editor, Galveston's custom collector for the Republic of Texas, and inventor. Borden experimented with processed foods, including a beef biscuit, which was like pemmican. The bad taste meant few sales and bankruptcy. Borden sailed from London, shocked that children died on board from contaminated milk. Borden worked on inventing a way to preserve it. He hit on a process to condense milk and received a patent in 1856. Borden demanded strict sanitation. Sugar was added for taste and to help preservation. He built the New York Condensed Milk Company just in time for great demand from the Union military. Borden expanded production as demand increased, helped by marketing. William Underwood was a London apprentice at a bottled food company. Then he migrated to Boston. Here he bottled mustard, some kind of ketchup, and pickled vegetables. Underwood shifted to canned goods in 1836, initially shipping the product to South America and beyond. The bonanza came from military demand during the Civil War. His deviled ham sales started after the war, when deviling meant using pepper sauce, cayenne peppers, and other spices. The devil logo came later. Gilbert Van Camp built a commercial cold storage warehouse, then started canning. Soon, Van Camp signed a contract to supply Union troops, and his pork and beans became a Civil War staple. After the war, veterans continued to buy and production grew, also thanks to advertising. The current recipe was developed in 1894. James Folger headed to San Francisco as a 49er to search for gold, but stayed in San Francisco seeking business opportunities. He got a job at the Pioneer Steam Coffee and Spice Mills, rising to partner. The company went bankrupt after the Civil War. He kept the creditors at bay, then reorganized as the J.A. Folger's Company. Quality and reputation were keys, with quality determined by taste testing. Marketing made Folgers a national brand. John Henry Heinz founded the Anchor Pickle and Vinegar Works in 1869, producing horseradish, sauerkraut, and pickles, then bankruptcy, restructuring, and a new name, H.J. Heinz. New products followed, including tomato ketchup. Heinz was soon producing over 60 brands, but decided that 57 varieties sounded swell. Advertising like beans means Heinz, and high quality made sales zoom. Heinz was so proud of his high quality that he was one of the few food producers actually promoting the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. Joseph Campbell set up shop as a canning merchant in 1869, starting with tomatoes, vegetables, and soup. Success came from soup thanks to advertising. The original plant only closed in 1991. Some of his products included V8, Franco-American Spaghetti, Pepperidge Farm, and Swanson. Of course, the biggie was cream of mushroom soup, useful for multiple quick recipes. Then Andy Warhol soup can silkscreens. My pantry shows that just about anything can be canned, well beyond the famous canners from the 19th century. That's largely because better and cheaper cans were developed, better openers, and mass production benefiting from economies of scale. It was great for shelf life, convenience, and nutritional benefits thanks to the heating process. On the downside was a lot of added salt, the potential for lead and other contaminants, poor sanitation, and working conditions. That's it for the Great Divergence and the U.S. experience. We've been invited to Costa Rica by friends. There are new foods, plantations, and potentially other food-related topics to discover, plus a bit of history and uncovering mysteries of an important Central American country, beginning next time on Food History and Mystery.